we're back with the Spartan Boxing Break. This is your co-host, Dave Carr, with Joey Santana on the other line.
What's up, boys and girls?
Joey Baloney and
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. We're going to talk about a subject that's been prominent in the boxing news, and it's with regards to these apps that are popping up with boxing content. We have DAZN popping up. We have Showtime's been one of the leaders, actually, of the apps. They've had Showtime Anytime on the Android Play Store and the
You could
iPhone
actually
store.
put that. You can't put it on television, but you can put it on your iPad and you can watch live boxing on Showtime anytime.
Actually, if you have an Android box hooked up to your TV, you can watch it on TV.
You could do that too.
So,
Or you could just pay for Showtime,
yeah, you can pay for Showtime.
like I do.
Well, actually,
And then I lend out my password to everybody so they can watch Showtime.
Paying for Showtime, now you're going to get disconnected. Paying for Showtime actually gives you access. It gives you access to the Showtime app, which has Showtime Anytime on it. And I've been watching fights on Showtime Anytime for many years now, so they're one of the leaders. But now we have the ESPN app, the ESPN Plus app, that is an add-on to the ESPN channels with more content with sports and additional, I want to say additional content on different sports, including boxing. And they cut a deal with Top Rank's Bob Arum to bring all of their content over to ESPN and flow it into ESPN Plus for the fans.
Is it all of it or all of the good shit?
Here's the thing. I had a misconception about the app itself. I thought that if I paid the $5, because I don't have...
I have a
cable.
misconception too, so I'll let you go first.
I don't have cable. I have other means. I'm not going to mention them right now. Nitro TV.
Yeah. You're going to get kicked off too.
But the appeal of the app, to me, I thought initially, because I think maybe either I misunderstood or they misrepresented it. I have to go back and look, see which one it is. I thought that I would have access to the ESPN channels and extra ESPN content on the ESPN app for $5 a month. And I thought that was going to be a good deal for me.
Well, you do.
Well, you don't. Unless you have...
do.
No, you don't. And I actually spoke with them personally about this. Unless you have a cable provider that carries ESPN as a channel, you don't have access to ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, any of those channels. You're only going to have access to whatever's playing live on ESPN Plus, if there's anything playing live, and all the extra content that they're posting on ESPN Plus. And some of that content includes a lot of the boxing fights from the Top Rank library throughout the years. There's many fights from Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and all these guys, Wilfredo Benitez, Sugar Ray Leonard, and I've watched several.
Wait. When I set it up on my Android box,
right,
to watch Pacquiao's last fight,
right
against what's he say? I was in the app and they were showing the undercards from regular ESPN. That's why I'm asking you, like, why would they say that you don't get ESPN? Because
they're gonna show if they're gonna present a card, they're gonna show all the undercard content. If the main event is gonna present the card, they're gonna show all.
So you're saying I just can't go in there and watch SportsCenter?
You can't unless ESPN Plus is showing it live at the moment. You can watch some episodes. You can watch whatever content related that is pre-recorded or a replay of something, but you can't just tune into ESPN 1 or 2 and watch the live content at the moment unless it's being shown.
So that's your gripe with them?
Yes, because
right. You know what mine is?
I expected it, for the $5, I expected it to be all their channels, because they're not really a premium channel. They're not, say for example, an HBO or Showtime, which are premium channels. They're just a sports channel on regular cable.
It's a cable network. Right.
Yeah. So $5, I think, is good money for all of their channels, not just some added content. And although I will say that I have enjoyed the fights that they've presented,
Me too.
if they stop showing fights like that on a monthly basis, then it's coming off. I'm shutting it down.
Even if it's $5.
even if it's
All right.
$5, because
Here's my problem.
because it's
Here's my
better
problem with this.
because it's better
Here's
in my
problem with the fucking
pocket
app.
than in theirs.
My problem with the app is I did what everybody else did. Terrence Crawford, he was fighting Jeff Horn. I signed up for the 7-day free trial. You got to put in all your credit card information
Right.
to get this started.
Right.
But you get a 7-day free trial, right?
Correct.
So before the 7 days end, I cancel it. And then a month later, they still fucking charge me.
To me,
But Pacquiao was fighting, so I said, all right, I'll leave it. And I watched the Pacquiao fight. And now that we're talking about it, I'm remembering to cancel it. Because
and
I don't want to give them $5 because there's nothing coming up. But all of the other content that you're talking about, even, they had some type of, I forgot what it was, but it was kind of like a 24/7 for the
Yeah.
Crawford Horn fight. I think it was mostly about Crawford. I don't think nobody cared about Horn. That was pretty cool. And they have some. I think Dan Raphael has something going on in there, like some little talk show, some boxing show. They do have some good stuff, and they have, like you said, the whole Top Rank library, a bunch of old fights, Ali fights, Tyson fights, a bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of stuff. So the app is definitely worth $5. Just when I cancel it, can you just not take the money out of my bank account, please?
I don't think that it's worth it unless they're gonna have at least one or two cards that we can see live on it. I expected it to be all their channels, not just additional content. But I will say this. Well, your experience where they charged you after you canceled it, my experience was the opposite. I didn't cancel it, and they didn't charge me. And then I had to go back, and they signed me up for another 7-day, and then they charged me. I said, look, don't sign me up for the 7-day.
I think you owe me $5. That's what I think.
The fights so far,
Last week was the Kovalev and the Bivol card.
well, it was the week before that. There were some fights on ESPN,
Yeah.
and they were actually very good fights, But I am happy with the cards that they are presenting on the ESPN Plus app. Whether they can keep the same level of fighting, maybe. So that will decide whether I keep the app or not. DAZN hasn't started yet, so I'm not going to talk about them.
Right, and I want to see what they give us.
And
Like
that's
their first big card.
And that's going to be $9.99 a month. A lot of rumors out there. Oh, it's going to be $20. No, the U.S. price is going to be $9.99.
Well, they did mention $20 in the beginning, I think, but
well, that's what they charge in Europe and in other parts of the world. But there's a lot more content associated with.
Yeah, but they could charge more because the wankers over there care about the wanker boxers. So for us, it's a tough sell.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see whether they get some rights to other sports here in the U.S. because if they don't get some rights to the NFL, they already have rights to the NFL and to Major League Baseball and NBA to present it in other parts of the world. That's part of their package. But if they can't get those rights secured here in the U.S., and I think that some other outfits have rights to these shows and these leagues, then it's not going to be as appealing. They're not going to penetrate the market as well as they could if they had the access to those leagues. So Eddie Hearn has a tall mountain to climb with that. We'll talk about that.
I'm on a
day.
wait and see thing with DAZN. So
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. Yeah. I'm gonna wait and see what their first card looks like. Would I decide to pay $10 for it? And they might be just like ESPN Plus. If they have shit, then I'm gonna cancel it for this month or that month.
But so far,
depends.
It's been good. I've been happy with it. I'm not mad at the cards they've presented. It's been worth $5. They recently had a card at 7:30 in the morning, and in Australia last Friday, they even had the replay. Good fight.
So far, ESPN doesn't care if I'm happy or not. They're charging me anyway.
Now, that does bring some fragmentation into the boxing world. All these apps popping up and all of them trying to have their own content. Usually it was up to HBO and Showtime, and they tried to split it up, and each one had their own content. And a lot of times they crossed over when needed. But now we have many different sources of boxing, and each one is trying to do their own thing. I think that's not good for the sport. I don't think that having all these apps, unless they start crossing over. If they start crossing over, if we start seeing fights between DAZN and ESPN Plus because Top Rank and Matchroom are sharing fighters or sharing broadcasts. I'm down
Yeah,
with
but
that.
you know what? If you're getting HBO just for boxing, which you barely get anymore, and you're getting Showtime just for boxing, and you're paying for it. Let's say you're one of the legitimate people out here, unlike yourself. You actually pay for these channels. I pay for them because there's other stuff on there too.
I did
But
for a long
I'm just
time.
saying
I
there are
paid
people
for
out there that
everything.
just
There was a year
right.
in 2010 I paid for
Okay.
every single pay-per-view, including the Roy Jones Jr. versus B-Hop 2
The second fight.
farce.
Yeah, I was smart enough to go to someone else's house.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you were paying for all those channels and you cut them all off, and you're getting all your boxing from ESPN Plus, and you're getting all your boxing from DAZN, then you're actually saving money.
Sure, but you're missing boxing.
You're not.
You're not seeing all the
If
fighters out there.
no, you're right, but HBO is not really putting anything out there anyway. Look, the other night, that was the first fight in Atlantic City in 4 years. And HBO used to live in Atlantic City. Now they're never there anymore. There's never any fights anymore on HBO.
Now they're coming
I
back
mean, they're
with
going to give us
another.
Canelo and Golovkin and blah, blah, blah. But,
And Superfly 3 is coming.
it's
and
far and few between now with HBO.
far and few between. And I think that they lost track, they lost vision, and they got complacent. For many years, I said
kicked
this.
their ass.
Yes. And Bob went ahead and first Al took off with all the fighters, and then Bob said, "You guys are not giving me money for fights. Well, okay, then I'm going to find somebody else who's going to give me money for fights." So that was the
Thank
issue.
you, Bob Arum.
That was the issue. Now Bob's stuck on ESPN having to give us good cards because anything less, this is about
and that
ratings.
works out for us.
This is about ratings. That works for us. And he has to perform. Apparently, he's doing well enough to get extended for 7 years, and that's great. So, is it good value? I don't
Thank
know.
you, Bob Arum. Plenty of love for him.
You said it. I didn't.
Well, I'm banning the other guy for now, but you know what? You give me Tyson Fury and Wilder in December at the Barclays, I'll be there. I'm just saying, if it's at the Barclays, I'll go. I'm not flying to Vegas for that. But if it's here, I'm going.
Yeah, if it's close by, of course you're going to go.
They'll get my money then. As long as you give me what I want, you'll get my money. Unless you're ESPN, you're just taking it anyway.
So far, it has.
I'm not letting that $5 go.
Look,
Fuck them.
It's $5. Again, better in my pocket than theirs. So they have to give me some valuable content, something worth my money, or they're not going to get my money. And I feel the same way about the Zone. And people talk, oh, you could have had free boxing with this and that. Look, I don't want to see crappy boxing. I want to see good fights, good matchups. The fight we had on HBO last weekend between Eleider Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev is a prime example of why you need these guys, the best fighting the best, these good matchups, because
Right.
the unexpected
I
happened.
didn't see it live. I watched it. I had recorded it. I didn't watch it live, and I watched it afterwards. And I saw that he lost, and I saw a lot of the comments, and I even saw people saying, "I'm like, wow, he got dropped 3 times in the 7th, and he got knocked the fuck out," and everybody's talking about a rematch.
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I'm like, wow, this is a damn good fight, and Kovalev was actually winning the fight. It just seemed like he got careless.
He got careless and
Left
got
hand
caught.
is always low. He likes to cross his arms. His left hand is low, and he got caught in the second round with an overhand right, where Alvarez just went like over the top and caught him.
It was a great shot.
The first knockdown was the same way. He just went right over him, and then after that, I guess it was a temple shot or whatever. He was never the same after the first knockdown. You saw it in his face. He was finished.
I don't think that he was done, and I hear comments. Oh, this guy was done. This guy is done. He better retire. I think those are just hateful comments. I think that he still has. He may even win a rematch.
It's silly to say that because he was winning the fight. It was what? I think Harold Letterman had it like 5-1, and I know everybody thinks Harold Letterman's drunk, and he usually is. But even Max had it 4-2. I don't think that fight was any closer than that. It was about 4-2.
I gave Alvarez the first couple of rounds because he was outboxing him, and Kovalev didn't have the timing right. He didn't have the distance. He was missing shots, and he was getting tagged. But once he found the range and the timing, then he started catching this guy, and it got to a point in one of the rounds right before the knockout that I thought he was going to stop Alvarez. I thought that Alvarez was going to come out the next round, and Kovalev was going to continue what he had finished doing in the previous round. But man, that was surprising when he got caught and got put down. And he was hurt. He was hurt by the shot. I can't say that he got a beat down either. You know, he didn't get a beat down for 5-6 rounds and then get knocked out. That's not what happened. We talk about this guy being a bum, but then you have guys like Broner walking around getting beat up by featherweights, and nobody says anything about this guy. Come on. Which by the way, you and I were at that fight live.
Yes.
So
Mikey against Mikey.
Against Mikey. And I call him a featherweight because that's where he pretty much started.
Mikey needs to kind of like cool his jets a little bit.
That's another story.
Or whatever. Yeah. Right. He's got to calm down.
Okay, so the word on ESPN, it's still out. We need to see what happens. We need to see if we get more fights, if we get more content every month. I'm not mad even if it's just one good...
I'm looking at the schedule right now.
One good card.
I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at the schedule. As soon as we hang up, I'm cutting this off. There's nothing on ESPN Plus for a while. I don't see anything on ESPN Plus until September 8th. And it's in Australia. It's Andrew Maloney versus Luis Concepcion. That's it. Doesn't even show up
on ESPN Plus. There's something before that. In Tokyo, August 16th. See, there's an ESPN Plus. Ryosuke Iwasa versus TJ Doheny.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's a title fight. That's a featherweight fight. Now
that's a Thursday night fight. But I'm off next week, so that's great. I can watch that.
And these are part of the international.
No, I can't watch it because I'm canceling the app.
Oh, that's right. So I'll watch it and I'll tell you all about it. But this is part of the international cards that Top Rank's going to be bringing out. And really what they're doing is they're just buying the rights to rebroadcast these Japanese and these other place fights, these Asian fights, which is fine with me. I mean, there's some good boxing going on. Look at Rungvisai, where he came out of nowhere, dude. And he's become a pretty big star in his for his weight.
You know, I want to see more of him.
Absolutely. And isn't he fighting soon? You're gonna cancel the app. I'm gonna keep it and watch the Japanese title fight for the featherweight title, and then I'll tell you all about it. And if it was a good card, then that's too bad for you. And if it sucks, then I'm out $5.
But guess what?
What?
I'll be out $5 too, because they're gonna still take it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna end up watching it anyway.
I'm gonna cancel it and then I'm gonna watch it because they're gonna take my money anyway and keep the app going. So
that's right.
I'll probably watch it with you, even though I don't want to.
All right, so tune with us next time for the Spartan Boxing break, and we hope to see you soon.
Adios, boys and girls.
As always, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share our video if you like it.